A gracious good day to one and all once again. 'Tis I, Norton the First, by grace of God, Emperor of the United States and Protector of Mexico. Back with you once again for episode number 105 of Emperor Norton's fantastic history vlog. Today is July 28, 2020. It is our 133rd day under COVID-19 restrictions. Well, let's begin, as we always do, with our national days. Today is National Buffalo Soldiers Day. The Buffalo Soldiers were African-American soldiers who mainly served on the western frontier during the American Civil War. In 1866, there were 6 all-black cavalry and infantry regiments. Today is National Milk Chocolate Day. I could go for some of that right now. And National Water Park Day. I don't think those are operating right now, but it is nonetheless their day, so give them their due. Florida Man, one of our newer segments. Today in Florida Man. Florida Man makes beer run with gator in hand. I hope the gator was thirsty. Our San Francisco story for once does not come from John Ralston's book, This Date in San Francisco. And we would like to acknowledge some of the background material from this today's segment. Comes from a wonderful, wonderful book called San Francisco's Jewel City, the Pan-Pacific International Exhibition of 1915 by Laura Ackley, a wonderful writer and really the definitive book on the subject. It's out of print at the moment, but I believe some copies are still available on Amazon, and they'll be coming into print again soon. It was done for the centennial in 2015, and it's just a wonderful book, and Laura is a wonderful person as well. So, it was on this date in 1964 that demolition begins of the Palace of Fine Arts. The Palace of Fine Arts, our favorite building in San Francisco, one of our favorites in the world, was one of 10 palaces at the heart of the Panama Pacific Exposition, which also included the exhibit palaces of education, liberal arts, manufacturers, varied industries, agriculture, food products, transportation, mines and metallurgy, and the Palace of Machinery. The Palace of Fine Arts was designed by Bernard Maybeck, who took his inspiration from Roman and Greek ancient architecture in designing what was essentially a fictional ruin from another time. While most of the beloved exposition was demolished, when the exposition ended, the palace was so beloved that the Palace Preservation League, founded by Phoebe Apperson Hearst, was founded while the fair was still in progress. While the palace had been saved from demolition, its structure was not stable. And originally intended to only last the duration of the exposition, as the buildings were, the colonnade and rotunda were not built of durable materials and thus framed in wood and then covered with staff, a mixture of plaster and burlap-type fiber. As a result of the construction and vandalism by the 1950s, the simulated ruin was in fact a crumbling ruin. In 1964, the original palace was completely demolished, with the demolition starting this day, with only the steel structure of the exhibit hall left standing. The buildings were then reconstructed until 1974 in permanent, lightweight, poured-in-place concrete, and steel I-beams were hoisted into place for the dome of the rotunda. All the decorations and sculpture were constructed anew. The only changes were the absence of the murals, the dome, 2-end pylons on the colonnade, and the original ornamentation of the exhibit hall. And it underwent a seismic retrofit in the early 2000s. It's a favorite backdrop for wedding photos. And if you've never been to it, you are missing out on something really, really beautiful. As I said, our favorite thing in this city of such great beauty. Hard to quantify that sometimes, isn't it? Let's get on to our other history for today. Goes on this date in 1794, the French revolutionary figure Maximilien Robespierre and 22 other leaders of the Terror were guillotined to thunderous cheers in Paris. 1866, the metric system became a legal measurement system in the U.S., but we never adopted the metric system. The rest of the world pretty much has, but we didn't. 1868, U.S. Secretary of State William H. Seward announces the 14th Amendment ratified by states grants citizenship to ex-slaves. 1900, the hamburger is allegedly created by Louis Lassing in Connecticut. Louis' Lunch. It's still open as far as I know. They still use the same vertical broilers. There is some controversy as to who actually created the hamburger. Of course, it was the original minced meat patty was created in Hamburg, Germany, but putting it between two slices of bread or a bun is uniquely American. And as I said, there's a number of places that say they invented it, but Louis' Lunch probably has the best hold on that. Hard to say. 1917, a silent parade organized by James Weldon Johnson of 10,000 African Americans marched on Fifth Avenue, New York City to protest against lynching. Black Lives Matter. 1942, Nazis liquidate 10,000 Jews in Minsk, Belarusia ghetto. 1943, Italian fascist dictator Benito Mussolini resigns. 1945, the U.S. Army B-25 crashes into the 79th floor of the Empire State Building. 14 die. Same day, the elevator girl, Betty Lou Oliver, survives falling 75 stories after the bomber plane crash into the Empire State Building, breaking the cables supporting the elevator she was operating. This remains a world record for the longest survived elevator fall. I don't think there's too many people lining up to break that record, but she still holds it. Births today. 1866, Beatrix Potter, writer. 1887, one of our favorite artists, Marcel Duchamp. Happy birthday, Marcel Duchamp, or Rose c'est la vie. Duchamp fans will get what I'm talking about. No one else will, so that's okay. 1898, Charles William Mayo, founder of the Mayo Clinic. He also died on this date in 1968. Kind of an odd coincidence, I think. 1907, Earl Tupper, the inventor of Tupperware. Don't forget to burp it. And 1929, Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis, former First Lady. 1945, the creator of Garfield, Jim Davis. 1960, our favorite food writer, arguably Anthony Bourdain, but Jonathan Gold was the food writer for LA Weekly for many years. Counterintelligence was his column. Was also the food critic for the LA Times for many years. One of the greatest food writers of all time. Unfortunately passed away at a very young age. He was great. And he wasn't a food snob. He would eat at a dive as well as a great restaurant and always write a very fair review. So check out his work. And 1916, Alexis Arquette, American transgender performer. Deaths today. Thomas Cromwell, English chief minister for King Henry VIII, is executed for treason and heresy. 1655, did I say 1540 on that? I think I did, but if I didn't, I just did. 1655, Cyrano de Bergerac. 1794, Maximilien Robespierre was executed. I think we said that earlier. We did indeed. 1968, Charles William Mayo, as we said earlier, same day as his birthday. 2005, Ronald McDonald. Not that Ronald McDonald, no. A major general of World War II. I guess he was the model, the very model of a modern major general. He had information animal and mineral and vegetable. People come up to me on the street and start saying that to me all the time. They think that I am the modern major general. I am a modern major emperor. Where was I? 1960, okay, we got that. Last one, 2009, somewhat obscure figure, measure from LA, and I don't think he went nationwide, but he may have. Reverend Ike. Well, that wraps it up for today's edition. Until we meet again, stay safe, stay inside, and stay healthy. If you go outside, wear a damn mask. I am seeing just more and more video every day of people going over the edge about wearing a mask. It's the simplest thing you can do to save lives. It's very simple. Your blood oxygen does not go down. Trust me on this one. I've done the experiment myself. Stayed exactly the same. Actually went up at one point, but don't get me started. Don't take unproven cures. Be kind to one another. And until we meet again, a gracious good